So when people have macular degeneration, usually the macular area, it's like a pie with 8 slices. Not all the slices are completely gone. So sometimes a slice over here on the left side or near the bottom, if you have 6 slices that are gone and 2 that remain, or if the damage to the macula is more severe near the top or on the right, you're gonna get things easier. So that's why it was consistent for you that the bottom left one was better right away. It popped right in.
Yeah.
So the way you have to trick your brain now is to move your eye over to the right so that the one on the right side is now on the left side, if you know what I mean, by moving your eye and using that same strategy. And that's going to come in handy when we put the device on. It's also going to come in handy as a skill. For instance, if I Xeroxed that and sent you home with that sheet, you could practice this every morning when you're having your coffee or tea, and you could look across the kitchen or whatever, and we could get smaller and smaller targets, and eventually you'd be able to move your eye and know exactly how far to move your eye, and you would also be able to hold your eye still, because what happens is our brain at first will fight it. Like if the number pops in and then we blink, the eye will go back to the middle again. So part of the thing is figuring out how far do I look, and then the other part of it is how far do I look, and can I hold it still long enough to see both of those numbers.
So, can I ask a question?
Pardon?
You mentioned a target.
Yeah.
And so if she had in her head that the macular was the target, and that around the target are, quarters or sections.
Uh-huh.
So we're trying to find out which section is active and works.
Yeah.
And so that she can then move her eye to that part of the target and say, okay, this is a good part of my macular, and it does, and it works.
Yeah.
So now she wants to be able to train her eye so that it goes to that part of the target, so that it comes in and focuses.
Yeah, right. So there's a couple things. One is, so the macula would be the bullseye, and then the next ring would be, the ring outside the bullseye area. So let's say it had like 3 rings. So you don't want to move your eye all the way out to the 3rd ring. You want to kind of go just to the first ring, where the tissue is still healthy, and then by moving to the right.
Can an ophthalmologist check whether it's healthy or not?
There's usually a specialty area called a low vision rehabilitation center, where there's usually optometrists that have training in what I'm talking about, how to do that. And some of them have a machine now that actually takes live video image of the eye while it's moving, and they can look in that machine and they can say, wow, we see a little piece of tissue that's pretty healthy, so we're encouraging you to continue to look to the right. Or they may say the opposite, gee, it looks like this side of the macula looks better, and if you move your eye to the left, you might have better success. That's all part of a low vision service. Not very many centers in the country have that, all those imaging and know how to teach that. But
so that resource.
Thank you for telling me about it.
Yeah.
That resource we would have to find by asking her ophthalmologist, or
that would be a good start. It would be a good start, because we're always trying to get the retina guys to refer people, and they don't think of it, and then they send all these patients home without the knowledge.
The big sign on their office is Retinal Diagnostic Center. So that's where she goes, and that's where Dr. He was that did the operation. So we'll ask him, her. We'll ask her.
What's the best low vision center?
Right.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
We do that.
Yep. Okay, so let's go one more chart down.
Should I put
Yeah, you can if you want to. I think it might be better for you to cover your right eye.
Okay.
But we can test that also.
Okay. I believe that's a 7. And is that a 3 in the middle?
Yes.
And a 5 on
Right.
the right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So now when you look with both eyes,
Mhm.
what happens? Are you able to, even though you know what they are?
The first one is a 7,
Uh-huh.
a 5,
Uh-huh.
and a 3.
The 7 comes in, it sounds like the best again
Yeah.
when you first look at
Yes.
something. So the down and to the left is better.
Yes.
Okay. And then we're going to, okay. Let's do one more. You're doing really well.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
6,
Uh-huh.
4.
Right away.
I'm having trouble with this thing, the third one.
And did you notice something right away? How fast you got it this time? And it's much smaller than we were looking at before. So that's where the practice comes in, the skill of knowing where to look. And it works not only across the room, eventually it'll work when you're pouring your tea. You know, instead of looking straight down, I pour my tea, my eyes way over here, and I'm pouring and I know how to hold it still. Now, when I first started learning how to do that, my eye would go back to the middle, and then I would overspill my tea because my macula would go right back. So now I can hold it long enough to pour a tea slowly for 30 seconds and my eye won't move.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
So you can teach it.
You can teach your eye and your brain to do something that's pretty much completely different.
6, 4, and I'm having trouble with the third.
Yeah.
Let me put.
So move your eye very slowly to the right and maybe up a little bit.
2.
Yeah.
Okay.
It came in. So the reason I said up is, remember, the 6 is always down,
Mhm.
and that's the one you always get. So the 2, by going this way, now the 6 is in the position the 2 is in the position where the 6 was.
Yeah. Okay.
So up and to the right would probably be a good place to practice.
Okay.
You know. Now let's see if you can make it disappear. Make the 6 disappear. Move your eye so that the 6 is completely gone, and then make it reappear.
It's gone.
Okay. All right. And now make it reappear. So I want you to concentrate on about how far you have to move your eye to. It's an interest.
There it is.
Yeah. Okay. That's what you can practice: making it disappear and then reappear, and then disappear and reappear. What you're doing is you're teaching your brain, okay, where the best spot is and how far you should move to get to that spot quickly. And you're already doing it, but you're just going to help your brain do it faster eventually.
Thank you.
And then someday you'll be able to do that when you come up, you're walking down the street, you want to go down a curb. Instead of moving your head like this to see the curb, like I used to do also. Now I know right where to look. The curb, people see me run down the steps. They, I thought you were legally blind. I say, well, I am, but I know where to hold my eye still while I'm walking.
Oh.
You know, so.
Wonderful. Thank you for telling me.
You're welcome. This is what the headset looks like. And I'm going to have you feel a couple of things. On the top is a knob, kind of like binoculars, you know, where you focus.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when we put it on, we'll have you just kind of like binoculars, is find the best spot. You go back to the middle.
Okay.
After we focus it, then we're going to go to the first screen. We call it a scene, the scene. And the way we make the scene bigger and smaller is this touchpad. Can you feel it's like round?
Yes.
And the gesture that we use to zoom in is you take your finger and swipe like this. Yep. So kind of like this. Now you can practice on the table. Just swipe back to zoom in and swipe out to zoom out.
Okay.
So it's really, they made it really easy to use. Yeah.
Okay.
So towards your ear
Right.
to zoom in, towards your
Okay.
out to zoom out. Right above there, when it's on the side of your head, you also have to feel for the mode button. Can you feel it sticking up there?
Yeah.
And we're going to change the mode for, there's different screens, one for reading, one for seeing in the distance,
Okay.
and think different things like that. So, do you ever have motion sickness at all?
No.
Okay, so let me set it on the focus screen first. And I don't really strap it to my head first, I just hold it. I move the strap out of the way and I just hold it up to my eye like binoculars. And so you can hold it up to your eyes. And
It says focus.
focus, right? So
Yeah.
up here, I'm going to use your finger way up at the top.
Okay.
You can kind of go one way or the other. Do we have the tablet?
Jerome's grabbing it right now.
Okay.
Where on the top do you want?
Yeah, so focus it.
Where do you want it
Oh,
from?
I'm sorry. Did you find the wheel? It's right here. It is.
Oh, there.
Yeah.
I see.
So,
Okay.
so that's what she's looking at right now. It's just it's California beach chairs, I think.
Yeah.
Is what we're looking at.
Mhm.
That's enough. Is that coordinated with this?
Right now, yeah.
So she's seeing just one, big picture.
Right.
But it's actually one eye over the top of the other eye, so on this it's going to show two.
Okay.
But she's only going to see one. Okay. All right. So now that it's in focus, we're going to have you find that mode button. And where is it? It's right. Yep, right there. And touch that one.
Right there.
Uh-huh. And I'll have you look at Roger maybe. Let me touch it here. So we got it. There we go.
Control
I
shots.
don't see him. Oh, there he is.
Okay.
I was seeing his shirt. I thought I was in Hawaii.
And so now to see his face a little bit better, we're going to swipe with your finger this way until it gets. That way it makes it smaller, and go the opposite way now.
Yeah, I like it smaller.
You like it smaller?
Yeah, it's not so intimidating.
Okay.
I could see
So
it better.
when it's big, does it seem intimidating?
No, it's just that it's not as handsome. I mean,
No,
he's
that's-
gorgeous.
That's a dark image.
Yeah,
Is
it's,
that because I'm backlit?
Because it could be, yeah. I'll have you look at me just to, we'll compare. If you look at my face.
Yeah, see, that's much better. Did you,
No. The image that will appear on,
just back?
are you able to see my
lines?
face?
Yeah.
Okay, okay, all right.
and I'm learning how to use these controls too.
Right,
You want
exactly.
it
yeah,
open, Roger?
Yeah,
I want to put these that way.
Yeah, he wants it open, Joe.
yeah.
I can see your watch.
Okay,
I can see stuff on it too.
can you?
Keep
Okay,
going, keep
yeah,
going.
yeah.
So they're all up.
Yeah.
All of them up.
So if you
There
bring
you
it
go.
down for a minute,
Great.
like that.
Okay.
You
Yeah, same
didn't
down.
have
That's
any
good.
any feeling of dizziness or
No.
anything? Okay, some people do, maybe 1
No.
out of 10
No. not
have
at
a
all.
little sensation,
No,
you
not
know.
at all.
So, so I use it for like just like you were doing, like this, to find something in the pantry,
Mhm.
or I take it with me if I'm at the grocery store. I can get to the peanut butter aisle,
Mhm.
but I can't see the brand that I want.
Right.
So I just hold it up and then zoom in, and I can see the labels and things like that.
You mean I can go shopping?
You can, if you want to.
Not that I'm a shopper, I'm really not.
Right, right.
But occasionally you do need to shop.
Like.
The Safeway program.
Yeah, safe.
I was an art student when I was very young in college and whatever, so I went, first place I went was the Chicago Art Institute, because I wanted to see those paintings.
Yeah.
And I was able to zoom in, and
Wonderful.
it was like my brain remembered what it was like
Yeah.
to see, for the, it's been 40 years,
Oh.
so the tears were coming out of my eyes.
Oh,
Yeah,
sweet.
it was like amazing.
Mhm.
Yeah. So you can see faces, you can watch TV. I mean, different different things like that. So we'll try some different items.
Okay.
So to put it on, you can put, there's straps here. We're going to put it on your head so you can keep it on there and have your hands free. So we want to try to balance it so that some of the weight is even, so it's not all forward.
Okay.
So I'm going to try to adjust these straps a little bit
Okay.
because they're adjusted for my big head right now.
Well, I've got lots of hair.
Right. It comes with a brush and comb set, so.
Look up all the work at fluffing it out and everything.
Right, yeah.
Of course, you can mash it down quite a bit.
So we kind of put the straps on the back first and then bring it down.
Oh,
yeah.
put the straps
Or
on
either,
back.
yeah, that's fine, just like that. That's good.
It feels like it needs to come down further.
Needs to what?
Come down a little further.
Come down
Further on my face.
further in your face?
Yeah.
It was
It was up too high.
up too high? Okay.
Thank you. We'll try again. Yeah.
Is that better?
Somewhat better. It's still up a little up.
Still up a
No,
little.
maybe it's okay now. Okay, I think.
All right, okay. Now, why don't you look at these young men here and see if you can see they're farther away, so we're going to have to
I'll fix it so that, let's see.
zoom in. So you're okay, we're going to just use your index finger
Yeah.
and just go like this. So that they're farther away, we can bring them in closer.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Darling.
You see him pretty good?
He's adorable.
Thank you.
Can I see the other one too now?
Yeah.
If you
Because
either
he's adorable also.
He was our navigator, got it.
Oh, he's adorable. They both are. I like young men. I have 2 sons and a grandson. And I've had 3 husbands. I specialize in men.
I'm the only one that passed the training.
And I can tell when they're adorable. They're both adorable.
So I'm going to hand you something to look at, to read.
Okay.
And what I'm going to show you what it can do is, if you look at their faces
Okay.
and then drop your chin and look at the reading material, you'll notice that it automatically focuses from one to the other. So you can go up and down,
Uh-huh.
and you won't be able to tell. I mean, it's usually within a second,
It's vision support. Contact your clinician.
Mm-hmm.
In most cases, your clinician will be able to respond to questions more quickly and efficiently because they are already familiar with your needs. Okay?
All right. So then look back up at their faces again, just so you get an idea.
Hi, sweetie.
So it's learning to aim, aim
Yes.
Aiming at
what you want to see. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Sometimes it involves dropping your chin.
Okay.
Here's a picture of my granddaughter. So of course I have to bring that.
Of course.
You
Oh,
find.
she's a doll.
Can you find it?
Yeah, she's precious. What a cutie.
Now,
So you can do that with here's a bottle of water if you wanted to look at the label.
I could look at my grandson's pictures.
Yeah. Do you have some with you?
Not
Here's a bottle of water. I'll just have you, just kind of, like, let's say you're trying to find something, you want to read.
Right.
Now, of course, the small print is going to be hard, so if you wanted to read the small print, you could actually bring her right up close like that. That's one way to magnify. You don't want to. You want to go about 4 or 5 inches. You can't go any closer than that.
Okay.
But and then if you go farther away, you'll be able to read the bigger print pretty easily.
Right.
You know. So that's one way. The other way to magnify is keeping it at the same distance and then moving the swiping motion.
Controls.
Yeah, to make it.
Okay.
And so this is, we tell people that practicing 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes in the afternoon, and 20 minutes at night, and doing it every day, because there's a lot of things that you've already learned that can help, but it's not going to come easy. It takes, you know, it takes practice, it takes repetition, you know, in your eye and your brain. Well, I'm going to have you now look across the room and see if you can see that eye chart we were looking at before. Okay. I'm going to have
Bring it down.
Let's go down. Yeah.
3, 8, 4.
Keep going.
Yep.
7, 2, 6, 9, 3, 5.
I want to have you zoom in a little bit more, bring it in closer with your swiping with your finger.
Let's see.
This way.
Okay. 8, 4, 6, 7.
Okay, go down.
Oh boy. Good luck with that one.
Okay. 5, 1, 6, 2, 3.
Good.
4, 3, 6, 9, 7.
Good. Good. Can you make it bigger?
Okay. 6, 1, 5, 4, 6, 2.
Okay, great. How about the one below that begins with a 4?
4, 2,
See where we are. Yeah.
I'm seeing what she's seeing.
Yeah.
4,
4, 2.
Is that a 9? 5,
Yeah.
3,
Yeah.
6, 7.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah. So, what we'll do, I don't know
The last one is
it's
just.
like they look like little ants
Yeah,
crawling there.
right.
Yeah. So we'll skip those.
Okay.
But you read all the way down the chart too.
Okay. So that's good.
So, what do you think, Roger?
I think it's amazing. This is
Large
going,
box.
So you went from about 20. Let's go back to the one that she was first reading.
Okay.
I'll show you the
3,
math.
Okay. 3.
So we use a little bit
6.
different chart than the eye doctors. We're measuring at 10 feet.
5.
The eye doctors always say 20, 20 or 20 feet. So we just take the number and we convert it to a 20. So what was the one? 286.
7,
I think
5, 3.
that was the one. What's the number on the bottom? The tiny number on the bottom of that chart?
49. It's 160.
160. Okay, so the fraction is 10 on the top, 160 on the bottom, without the device. So that would be 2320, or approximately 2300 would be what she could see without the device, 2300. So she read all the way to 2040. So if you take 300,
she actually got 2020.
and that's a 20 line, so it's 1020 or 2040.
Oh, okay.
So if you go from 300 to 40, what is that? 6 times improvement or 7 times improvement? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually have you stand up. We're not going to walk with it, but do you feel comfortable just standing?
Sure.
Okay. Now over to your right here,
Okay.
I'll have you take a step. Or if you want to lift it up and take a step and then put it back down, we can
That's
do
okay.
it that way.
You want me to take a step?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Now look up on the wall. There's
Oh, yeah.
something there. So I'm going to simulate. Let's say you're in a grocery store or something.
Okay.
And you wanted to stand and look at. Okay, now just look up on the wall. Can you see anything there?
I can see a light fixture.
Uh-huh. And to the right, there's some printing material.
Okay, so turn hard
yeah.
right.
Uh-huh.
Visual, wait. National Vision. The same I'm having to learn how to hold it still.
Right, right. So make it smaller. You know,
Smaller
would be out away from your ear. Yeah.
National Vision. The, can I hold
Yeah.
your hand?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay. The same people clearly, no, already found?
What if she walked up close?
Right. Yeah. So that's the two ways to magnify is just getting closer, a little bit closer. You're fine, right there. Or zooming in with your finger. So those are the two ways. Can you see some of the words?
Yeah, it's a little too
Yeah.
large for me.
Okay, so make it smaller.
Yeah,
Go away from you.
yeah.
Yeah.
He should what is that word? I'm not familiar with it.
There might be,
R-E-T-I-N.
retinitis
Retinitis.
pigmentosa. Is that what you're reading?
Yeah, pigmentosa
It's a name of an eye condition.
is a generally what is that word there?
And maybe make it just a little bit bigger. Can you zoom in a little bit?
Inherited eye disease.
Mm-hmm.
Its onset
Mm-hmm.
can
When you get stuck on the word, remember our little trick of moving up with your eye just slightly up
Yeah.
and to the right?
can
That's something to practice.
clearly something.
Mm-hmm. So what happens is your brain, when you move your eye up and to the right,
Mm-hmm.
you can see a word and your brain gets all excited, so it thinks you can read again and it puts your eye back to the middle. And that's where the practice comes in. So by trying to look at something, one for reading,
Right.
but when you learn to be able to do that and use the device at the same time,
Uh-huh.
instead of moving your eye, what we say is just kind of move your head and keep your eye in the better position so that your eye won't drop down anymore and keep going to the middle. Or that's one thing you can do, or of course make it bigger. The bigger you make it, obviously sometimes the whole line of print won't be on the screen at one time, so
Right.
you'll have to move your
Right.
head, you know.
Later people,
See how quick it came in? When you move your eye, it comes in like really quick,
Yeah.
and then your brain gets excited, and then you stop.
later
And that'll
people-
go away. That's actually a practice thing that gets better with practice.
Mhm.
If you want to slide it up on your forehead right now, I'm going to just show you where you are in
Okay.
the room here.
Okay.
So you're standing, you know, I would say like at a same distance as you would if you were looking at products on a shelf or
Yes.
something like
Mhm.
that, you know.
Mhm.
It works great for microwave or, you know, thermostat on the wall.
Yeah.
You know, think about all the things that
Mhm.
we were frustrated doing.
Mhm.
Or the other thing you could do is just hold it up there. Like if you were just in a store and you just wanted to look, you didn't have to put it on. You could
Right.
you could just hold it up there.
Right.
Same like if I go to an exhibit in a museum and I can't see what's on the plaque on the wall, I just hold it up there and then I walk to the next exhibit and bring it up there. Kind of like a
Generally indicated eye disease. Its onset can occur during childhood or adulthood.
wow. What happened? You're reading really good now.
Its first symptom is really is that right? No. Night
Yep,
blindness.
right.
Later people, no, peripheral side vision is, no, peripheral side vision is lost. Inability to see small details can occur in advanced stages of the disease. It is as slowly, no, as simply people, no, progressive disease that can lead to total blindness in some individuals. Okay.
So if I was timing you, like how many words per second or whatever in my head, you know, you're getting better already, you know. So that's why.
I'm learning to use it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
why.
learning to-
That's why
yeah.
I do 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 20
Yeah.
minutes. You can't skip a day because then your brain wants to go backwards,
Got
you
it,
know.
got it.
You
You
know,
have to
so it
practice,
does
practice,
take,
practice.
and that's the hard. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
got
yeah,
it.
yeah.
What, this is a Samsung product?
It's made, the hardware, which is actually a phone, I'm going to
Right.
show you what it looks like, is made by Samsung. It's once it gets here, it changes significantly. So the company IrisVision has software engineers who are using the capability of, you know, basically it's a computer, a supercomputer inside of here to make the brightness and the contrast and the magnification do what it's doing. So it's not like, it's no longer can be used as a phone. It's really, its main purpose is always going to be used with the headset, you know. It does have, I didn't bring in the wireless charger. Do we have that?
Oh, the wireless charger. We also have a controller for it as well.
There is a charge ear pad that you can set it right down on top of the charger like that.
So it's sort of an automatic charger.
It's an automatic wireless. They call it wireless charging. Or some people, if you did take it out, you could actually plug it in just like you do a cell phone. Here to charge it and plug the wire right into there. But it's easy. They made it easy with a wireless charger.
Now, if I've seen these take selfies, and you have this stick, you know, and would that work without the?
Without these?
Yeah.
No. No, it won't. It won't. Yeah, it needs this. You see the optical magnification lenses.
Got it.
So it's using two different systems.
How do you
One
put it in there?
So the way I do it, I taught myself to do it without looking. Is there's like a clip on one side. This is and a connector on the other side.
Okay.
All right, which hold the phone in. This side has, the connector has a little post. Can you feel that little post?
Yes.
This side doesn't have the post.
Right.
So I hold it vertically like this, with the post at the bottom sticking straight up like that, so I can feel that without looking.
Yeah.
And then I have to find the hole, right, like that. I can feel there's not one here. See if you can feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then it's just a matter of practicing, you know, kind of with my finger on the post. Is I'm going to try to slip it into that hole and then just push down. So now, sometimes it'll make a tone. It's supposed to make a tone. And then now it's in, you know. So all I do is push it like that.
And it clicks in.
Yeah.
Got it.
So if I were to go to a museum tomorrow, I would charge it tonight, make sure it's 100% charged, and then I would actually take it out, and there's on the right side right here is a button. If you hold that in, you just hold it in.
Hold it in.
Yeah, hold it in until you see 3 boxes on the screen. Okay. Oops. There, 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
So I'm going to touch the top one, and then it turns into one box, and now it's going to shut off. It's going to shut off. So I know it's 100% charged.
So that way you keep it charged.
That way it's
Okay.
That way when you get to the museum tomorrow, you're going to have 100% charge. You know.
And then how do you turn it on?
So the way you turn it on, I'll have you do it.
Okay.
It's is the same button on the right side, about a third of the way down. Just hold it in and count to 3 slowly, and you'll see something come up on the screen and let go. Okay.
Okay. That means it's on now.
And that means it's on, and what you're going to see it go through several screens. It's going to boot.
I know I'm going to be asked to help, so I'm going to watch.
Sure.
it.
Yeah.
So if I want to turn it off, how do I do that?
So we'll let it.
It's got to go. It's cycling through the screen.
Yeah, right. It's going to come all the way. I'll show you what the screen looks like when it's ready to be put back in the headset.
What button is the side button that activated this screen?
So
thing?
there's the
chairs.
The little beach chair. So that means it's time to put it in here. And so you feel the connector, and we got to put it facing you.
That's right.
Yep, I think you got it.
Anyway.
Now here's a scene that actually I kind of wanted this one, so we built it. They built it for me.
We got our model here for you, Tom.
Yeah. So this scene gives you 2 things on the screen at one time. The bottom is regular vision, and the top there's a rectangle. And if you see something interesting, and you drop your chin and you put somebody's face in the rectangle, then with your finger you make what's inside the rectangle bigger, it allows you to like see somebody's face.
Yeah, stick it up in
Is it working?
the face, Tom's face. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Okay. Now, how do you bring it down? How do you bring the picture down? His face down into the screen.
yeah, so you drop your chin and try to get his face inside the rectangle at the top.
It is. It's there.
Is it going?
It's there, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. I can see it right here.
I don't know how. I don't know what you mean by that.
What I mean by that is the bottom part is not magnified and the top part is. So
The screen is split. So
it's
you have
like a split screen, yeah.
You have a little square up in the top, and you've got the face in it. So the way you get the face in it is by moving.
I don't see the face in it.
Well, you got to move your
Move your head
move
slowly
your head.
and try to find the face and put it inside the rectangle.
Move your head up a little bit. More. There, bingo! You got it. You see it?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So the reason that we do a split screen is, in the old days, when you magnify something, the more you magnify it, the smaller the area that you see.
Mm-hmm, right.
So this gives you the ability to magnify, but still keep the full scene.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say you're sitting at dinner in your dining room area, and you want to, after dinner, you want to put this on and have a conversation. Well, you'll still be able to see everybody at the table,
Mm-hmm.
but then when somebody starts talking, you can practice putting their face right inside the.
The screen is that thing right there. What is the screen?
Well, the screen is what you're looking at. The screen is your vision as to what you're looking at. I can see what you're looking at because
Well, I'm looking.
it's replicated.
Can you see the face?
Yeah, I see the face.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
You see the face.
Yeah.
Okay. Now move up. Move your eyes up.
Oh, move my eyes up.
Yeah.
Okay. And then move them down. Does it work that way? Does it work with the
Oh,
eyes?
you mean I see him and I also see him on the screen.
Right.
Right.
Got
Right.
it.
Right.
Okay, I didn't understand.
That way, see, yeah, the screen is doing a magnification of his
Oh, that's
face,
wonderful, yeah.
so that you can see his expression.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're having a conversation,
Yeah.
to see
That's-
people's expressions
Yeah.
is fun, you
Right,
know.
yeah, because he's smiling and he's looking around. So
Yes.
Jerome
I
is grinning.
get to see these darling men
That's right.
up close.
Right. So hit that button again,
Okay,
And that-
which button?
and that's the mode. We call it the mode button. It's the one that sticks up there. Can you feel it?
Up there?
Up above the pad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hit it again. And what are we in now?
We are in reading inverted.
Read.
Oh, I see. You're trying to.
This is
You're
black.
doing black, yeah.
Yeah.
See,
So it
this is a
changes
black background. So now,
Uh-huh.
where did you change the?
I like a different background.
Yeah, where's the yellow thing you're talking about?
So if we push that mode button again,
Uh,
we're going to get green.
Yellow.
yellow. There's the yellow.
Yeah. So you just keep pushing that button and it goes around in a circle.
It's
It
vision.
just brings up different screens.
It says vision support, contact your clinician. Now you see that as it, and the background is yellow, and is it Tom?
Yes.
And Tom says that the scientists say that yellow is better for your eye,
Yeah.
and so you might want to read, for example, read your book with that particular yellow thing on,
Yeah.
and
Let me hold
would
it
be
so that-
less.
Yeah.
So that you can zoom in on the print, make it bigger, and make it really easy to read. So start.
I did the focus thing.
Oh, okay. So push that button now, that mode button. And
Which is the mode button?
It's the one right. Yeah, right. Right. Can you feel it?
Yeah.
So just push it until you see the yellow. That would be
Yellow,
one.
yellow background.
There's the back yellow.
There it is, background yellow. Now what?
All right, now zoom in, make it bigger, make the print bigger.
And I do that by
swiping.
Towards your ear.
swiping towards me.
Towards you, yeah.
Okay.
It says what the magnification is amazing. Look at that.
It
And
tells
if I
you
want to make it smaller, I go
the other way. Uh-huh.
Okay.
So that's what you have to practice every day, is the...
Yeah.
Every day. Yeah, you would. Because, as you say, you got to trick the brain, and the brain has been working for 70 years doing one thing, and now you're asking it to do something else.
So I start with things like this that are easier to read. Because to pick up a magazine, what did you say you read, the New Yorker or whatever? That's like step 10.
Right.
This is step 1.
Okay.
So you're going to have to build up.
Got it.
But you'll be able to do it. Eventually, you can just make it bigger, make the New Yorker bigger so that it's big enough for you to see it.
But you have to,
and then you're going to learn. You're going to learn to look up and to the right, just like we did at the very beginning, and then you're going to go across. You can also, if you look up and to the right, you can also move the material this way when you're reading instead of moving your head back and forth.
Okay.
I would practice both. I would practice, moving your head and keeping your eye up here. And then I would keep my eye up here. I would keep my head still. And I would practice going like this. And you'll get a sense of which one is better for you. It's probably going to be this way eventually. It's a little bit more advanced. I'm going to show you one more screen that we haven't talked about yet. We call it the bubble. In the bubble, the way I get the bubble is I go down and up. Remember, we've been using it left and right. So now I'm going to go down and up, and I'm going to introduce a bubble right in the middle of the screen. It's sort of like the split screen, except now it's right in the middle. So if you want to put somebody's face right in the bubble,
okay.
And maybe look at Roger, or so you learn to aim.
Right.
And then inside the bubble, you can make it bigger or smaller by going left or right again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Hi, you.
Hi.
He's in a bubble. It's kind of like a magnifying glass, Yeah. If you don't want the bubble on the screen, you move your finger all the way up like this, like 3 or 4 times, and the bubble goes away.
Oh, okay.
So the bubble is swiping down.
Swiping down to bring the bubble back onto the screen. And make it whatever size you want by going up and down slowly. And then when you get it the size you want, that's the same thing. If I was sitting at a table with 3 people and I wanted to have a conversation and see their expression, I would probably put the bubble like the size of somebody's head.
Right.
And then I would, when somebody new started talking, I would just change and look at them.
Got it.
Can you see the expressions?
Yeah. Yeah. Got it.
You're doing actually very, very well.
Thank you.
Extremely well.
Thank you.
I think you're an excellent candidate
Thank you.
for this. This
I'm glad you approve.
Yeah.
Well, she is so excited, I'm sure. You're so excited about being able to read and watch TV. Because we watch the news, and here's this beautiful screen. It's so perfect, and this is going to just do it for us. So she can watch everything. Wow.
What's interesting to me is when you have been using this for a while. So like after 2 months or 3 months, and you'll convince yourself that you're reading better and things like that. Your brain will enjoy and will know what things look like, and it'll remember what things look like. So you'll actually see better when you're walking around, and you'll see something on the shelf or something like that because you've seen it through here. In your brain, when you walk past it, even without the device, your brain will tell you, oh, that's what that is. I can see it over here, even though you can't see it.
Right.
It's a trick.
That's very helpful.
It really is. It's like because the brain knows and keeps information,
Right.
visual information there, and you can, obviously see all the way down to 2040 now. Things will pop out into your brain that otherwise your brain would sort of, I know being visually impaired for 40 years, my brain kind of got lazy. And then when I'm using something like this, it wants it more. It wants to learn more. It wants to see more. And things stick in my mind. We had a little clock on our shelf near the television, and I was watching, and during the commercial I zoomed in. I said, I didn't even know we had a little clock there. So then I studied it. It was like a gold leaf, and it was very ornate looking. So I really zoomed in on it, and then I forgot about it later, and I walked past the bookshelf, and I glanced over, and my brain, I saw that clock. I saw it. I knew what it looked like. I knew, and my brain told me, oh, it was like playing a trick.
Your brain took a picture of that clock, and to remember.
You remember.
To trigger it, all you have to do is walk by it.
Yeah.
You got a good brain there, Tom.
So it's still working. Yeah, it's still working. And that's what I tell. That's why we actually call it low vision rehabilitation, because it doesn't come, over time things change and get better and better and better. But it's slow, and it's hard work. I mean, you really do.
I see that.
The expectation is you really do have to use it every day, and try not to skip a day.
This is not a Eisenbach magnifier.
No.
It is a totally different thing, because it's rehabilitating your vision with your macular problem.
Yeah.
The scientists have taken the macular problem and said, we got to do something to help these people. So here it is.
Me with the team, because I recently retired and have a background in vision rehabilitation. So
you sure do. You're very impressive.
So Dr. Werblin and I, it's so much fun. We sit on this side of the table, and the software guys sit there, and we dream up things. What would you like to have this do? And so it's going to change. It's going to keep getting better.
Great.
And so it's upgradable, and the upgrades are free. So if you ever want some new features that come in, for instance, we think it would be fun to watch a movie inside of here, like Netflix or something. So we'll have that soon, maybe in a month or two.
You mean the screen would be
with the screen instead of the screen would be on the inside.
It would be in here, so you'd stream it from there. Huh?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So some of those features will be upgradable, and we're offering that for free. You just call the office, and
they'll download it.
They download it for you.
That's great. I love it.
When you say they download it for you,
Yeah, what does that mean? So you guys want to explain that, how you do it?
Yeah, I can do that. So what we do is that we
have you take the phone out, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So
I shouldn't have done that.
When we ship out the phone, so when you get it, we have software installed on the phones that allows us to remotely
get in there.
Yeah, get in there.
As long as it's connected to Wi-Fi.
It's connected to Wi-Fi. So once it's
Wi-Fi.
So once you connect to the Wi-Fi, I'll be able to control the phone
Yeah.
From the office and then download our software on.
That's
wow,
Love it.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.